Atheists have long been under attack for um, being or have been accused of claiming knowledge when they have no proof. How can you say there is no God when you can't prove there is no God? Okay, so there you get the whole reason why people want to be agnostics. Well, I don't want to be lumped into that category where I claim truth and don't have any evidence. But an atheist really only disbelieves the gods that have already been defined. It's the undefined gods that you're agnostic to. It's the defined ones that you're an atheist to. Let me explain. Well, let's first understand what an atheist is. An atheist says there is no God. An agnostic says he doesn't know if there is a God or not. That possibly it's unknowable and that there isn't anything that he can do to test whether that God exists or not. So, therefore, he's agnostic. Okay, fair enough. But we must remember that one can be an atheist, a believer, or an agnostic, all at the same time, depending on how God is defined and which God we're talking about. If you define God as one who lives on the top of Mount Olympus and throws lightning bolts from his hand, then that is subject to testing. That is within the realm of the knowable. And we can easily say whether or not we believe that. You're an atheist to that God because it's testable, it's knowable. If you say that God was concerned about humankind and sent his son here to be born of a virgin birth and died and he was resurrected, and that God cares about the skin at the tip of our penis, and the same God that thought the earth was flat, we can easily refute that God because our understanding of the world doesn't gel with what is given in the Bible. As far as creation, that God supposedly created everything in the same day. We know that is so far from the truth it is ridiculous to even consider. That God does not exist. Atheist. If, on the other hand, you say that God is nature and that the earth is God and the air is God and outer space is God, that the universe is God and all of nature and everything, every subatomic particle in it is God, then yes, I believe in God. Then yes, God exists because the universe exists. So if you define God as nature or the universe itself, yes, I believe in God. Now, if you're one of these guys that likes to twist words and play with people's heads and try to run laps logically around the atheist, what you'll do is you'll take the tack like Dinesh D'Souza and Deepak Chopra, and you'll say, well, God is this ethereal spirit, this energy that resides in the universe. It is truth itself, and we don't know, we don't have any possible way of knowing it's outside of space and time. It's not in the material world, and when you come up with this bullshit definition of what God is, this definition that is not a definition, then you have to be agnostic about it. So that's their trick, is they say, well, God is outside of space and time, so how can you be an atheist? Then you would need faith to be an atheist because you couldn't prove whether this God existed or not. Well, these are not the gods that we deal with on a daily basis being an atheist. These gods that Dinesh D'Souza and Deepak Chopra posit are nothing at all. They're just throwing straw men out there for us to attack that and to avoid the real issue, which is the defined gods of this world. And that's when we say we're atheists, that's what we're talking about. Of course I'm an agnostic to something that's undefined. How the hell could I refute something that is not defined? So why is it that so many atheists take this nuanced position of being an agnostic? Why go through all the trouble of trying to say, well, I don't know and I really can't tell, when you can? When the God is defined, you are an atheist. You're only an agnostic in the rare event that the God is not defined. And I think I know why people would rather be called an agnostic than an atheist. And it has to do with the stigma that is on the word atheist. Generally speaking, when one admits to a bunch of lay people that they're an atheist, you pretty much get this feeling of, oh my God, the devil has just walked in the room. There's this perception that you have no morals. You feel that you can do anything in life because when you die, there's no punishment. You know, you're a godless heathen. They feel like, oh my God, lock up the kids. Here comes an atheist. Oh my God. That is the problem with the word atheism. So people take on this, oh, well, I'm not an atheist. I really don't know. So I'm an agnostic. Because they don't want to be lumped into that terrible atheist category. And also because they don't want to sound like the religious. You know, when the religious say, well, there's God and that's it and that's the way it is. Atheists don't want to come off as sounding, well, I know there's no God and that's that. Well, it's not that cut and dry. That's too general. We're getting into more specific things like which God does and does not exist. And when you get down to the specifics of which God we're talking about, no one has a problem being called an atheist. It's just when you label someone across the board an atheist, it's impossible. How can you be an atheist to everything? You know? How can you be an agnostic to everything? Wait, are you really agnostic to Poseidon? Really? Really? So you don't know if you can prove whether Poseidon exists? I mean, get real. Atheists, stop calling yourself agnostics when you know you're an atheist and you know there's no damn difference between an atheist and agnostic except a nuanced position.